Well, it worked again. Moving on. Um, I was over by 1 second on that last video, so if for some really, really finicky reason it doesn't get through, that is why I actually made a video before this, just in case it doesn't go through and people don't know. But anyway, uh, I will be, yeah. Yeah, I have this huge spiel, and again, didn't make it through, so I don't mean last video, I mean like I had this huge video, but whatever. I know this is like redundant if the thing actually makes it through, I'm just making sure. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I have Mortal Kombat. I'm not talking about the original Mortal Kombat. No, I have the newest version of Mortal Kombat, which is just called Mortal Kombat, but it's technically Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9, a very fun fighter game. I will tell you now, it is not for the weak of constitution. It is basically, yeah, a lot of violence, a lot of people getting, I'm not kidding, their skin ripped from their body and then kicked over. You can thank Shiva for that lovely image. Yeah. I could talk about that game, but I will say this much. I will be putting any spoilers up in the title. It will be say commentary part 2 and spoilers. And I'll also be putting spoilers down in the description. Yeah, by the way, spoilers start here for anyone, who's planning on playing Mortal Kombat 9 or getting it. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 9, a very fun fighting game, mainly because whoever loses gets royally. But moving on. Yeah, one thing they did in Mortal Kombat 9 that, as far as I know, was never in any other Mortal Kombat game before it is the introduction of X-ray kills. I'm not sure if it's the introduction of the super meter, but it's definitely the introduction of X-ray kills. X-ray kills is what happens when you fill the super meter all the way up. I mean, not X-ray kills, just X-ray moves. It's not always kill. The super meter at the bottom has 3 levels. First one is an enhanced special. Basically, this will usually either do more damage, have a special effect, or have a larger area, depending on what attack is being amplified. The second one is Breaker. Now normally you can combo someone, and pretty much that person is royally screwed over because combos, most of the time you can't just block in the middle of a combo. Breaker allows you, as long as you do it on either the first or second hit of a combo, if you hit forward and RT, a breaker knocks the enemy back, doing a small amount of damage and getting you out of the combo, which can sometimes save your ass. If it makes it all the way to 3, the super meter, you get an X-ray by hitting, in my case, because there's Mortal Kombat 9 for the PlayStation 3 as well. In my case, hitting right and left trigger at the same time triggers it. Many of these require hitting the enemy. Some go through blocks, some don't. Most don't, actually. The ones that actually do go through blocks have a very small range. My 2 least favorite ones are like setups. I love the X-ray that comes afterwards, but the setup is a SOB to actually, get someone with. Is Kung Lao and Johnny Cage. Kung Lao, all he does is spin in freaking place, like one area. So you pretty much have to have someone right on top of you to get it. Many times they'll probably be jumping into you, but still. And Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is the one X-ray in the entire freaking game that is a counter X-ray. The opponent has to hit you in order for it to work. But on the upside, it does far more damage than the normal X-ray. I will actually go through those two X-rays. I don't like their setup, but I love what happens afterward. This is basically how X-rays work. They're called X-rays simply because whenever you do a devastating, devastating blow to your opponent, it'll show the X-ray of it actually doing the damage. In the case of Kung Lao, he will spin around, hit the opponent, send them flying a little bit, grab them, and chop them in the neck, and you can see their neck vertebra basically nearly shatter. And then while they're leaning over in pain, he does a very hard chop to the back of their neck, pretty much almost severing their neck bone. Here's the thing about X-rays: they do like almost 1/3 of someone's health damage, so they can be very useful for catching up or just taking someone out without them being able to do anything about it. But if you use them and you miss, it drains your entire super meter, so you gotta know when to use them and when to use the other stuff. And keep in mind, you can actually use any of the other things previously. Like if you have a full super meter, you can use 3 enhanced attacks or a breaker and an enhanced attack, whatever. In Johnny Cage's case, he makes me hurt just thinking about it. His is he will knock the opponent's attack out of the way because it's a counter X-ray, and then he will do a split and repeatedly punch them in the groinal region. And it actually does an X-ray of the muscle. The muscle, not anything else. The muscle of the groinal region. And then while the opponent is like pretty much bending over in complete agony, he will then jump up and pretty much elbow their back and snap it right in half. Yeah, not all that pleasant. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 9 has the Challenge Tower. I know that was in previous games, but this one has 300 challenges, and pretty much first ones are like Manby-Pamby. You can make them through pretty easy. The last couple of ones are the last like probably 100 are really tough. Like the difficulty is measured in how many coins you get at the end. And trust me, some of the later like 20 of them, some of them are like 3,200. That's double what you get for the really hard ones early on. Yeah. And the last challenge, number 300, is 10,000 coins, and it's 50,000 to skip. Yes, you can skip challenges, but they usually cost quite a bit more than it would the reward you get. Yeah. But you get a little prize for making it through Challenge Tower. And you can actually skip the last challenge and still get the reward. Yeah. This reward is really more of a reward for pretty much either girls who are completionists and like to get all the achievements and completing the entire game, or guys that are both completionists and guys, basically. The reward for beating Challenge Tower, this is where you might want to stop the video if you were interested in the previous stuff and not interested in knowing the reward. There we go. I was pausing for those people who didn't want to hear this. The reward for Challenge Tower is actually a third costume for Melina. It is For those of you who actually play the story mode first before you take a whack at Challenge Tower, I don't know why you would take a whack at Challenge Tower first, but it is basically Melina's flesh pit costume. If you look at it, you'll be wondering, oh, how can I get that costume? In the case of guys, you can get that costume via beating Challenge Tower. For those of you who don't know what the costume is, basically it's just Helena with the only thing she has on is gauze, covering up the only areas that are required to be covered up in a game. Yeah. And I say areas, not area. Yeah, they don't go that far. And there's actually an achievement for it, which I find very funny. The title of the said achievement is actually a secret achievement, because if you look, you won't find it ahead of time. It's called Best ... Alternate ... Ever. It's worth about, I think, 50 gamer score. Pretty decent. And you get the costume, so it's pretty good. Story for that game, really well thought out, really nice. Some of the later fights are a real pain in the butt, but that's the point. One complaint I have about the game, though, is in Challenge Tower, and really anything past medium in ladder match, as well as some of the story mode, some of the later story mode, it seems like the computer can do things that a normal person can't. I'm serious. They do special moves and finishers without even moving. Like, the character never even moves. They just stand there. They can do, like, specials that require, like, massive amount of button pushing, or just some decent button pushing in general, one after another. I actually got hit by Raiden's electrocute twice in a row. He did an enhanced electrocute, and then he did another electrocute right after that, which is pretty much impossible. Plus, they're combo masters. They can combo, like, go from one combo to another and pull them off flawlessly, and then go into a special attack without even, like, moving or messing up. I'm serious. Just not fair. That's seriously, even, like, they do things that even a pro at this game could not possibly do. I'm serious. They almost never, if you got above medium, mess up on a combo or a special attack. I mean, if you play this game, you'll know it's quite easy to mess up on some of the more complex specials, and even some of the easier ones too. I just don't find it fair. Moving on. By the way, anyone who gets on the multiplayer and gets me as an opponent, you lucked out, because I can beat the crap out of some computers, but I literally only won once on that, on multiplayer, and I've played about, I think, total of, I think it was 15 games. Of course, that was just in the span of one try, and I've never gotten back on multiplayer again. Might do that just because I'm getting friggin' bored. Oh, a little fun fact. On the PlayStation 3, there's actually a map and a character that is not actually available on the Xbox. So, screw you people with the PlayStation 3. And, yeah. The character and map, the character is Kratos from God of War. And the map is, I've never really got that good of a look at it, but it looks like something out of God of War, basically. Kratos has, of course, his swords and his big, gigantic sword, and his fatalities actually incorporate, like, Medusa's head and the lion gloves you get from Hercules, and gigantic sword and his regular swords. The funny thing about these fatalities is they don't actually have names. every single fatality of every pre-programmed character that's on every console actually has a name to it. That's actually sort of funny. Kratos's is just called Fatality 1 and Fatality 2. They also have Stage Fatality. Ooh,